there's so many mothers out there who is going through the same thing. It's got to stop.
Greetings and welcome, everybody. We've got the cast of Holding the Centre. How you all doing?
Good, man.
Okay. So we're going to interview you guys. I'm going to talk about the play. Yeah. So what is this play about? Who wants to kick it off?
It's about holding the centre.
Okay.
And it's really about the choices we make based on kind of who you're told you can be
Okay.
and who you actually are, and getting in touch with this gut feeling of who you are and where you've come from, opposed to kind of the smoke screen that society gives us on the path we should take.
Okay.
That's my interpretation of it.
Okay. Anybody else?
I think it's just spot on. Just following on from what Adea said, it is just holding on to that centre. I think, we live in a world where there's a million different voices telling you how you should be, what you should be, how you should look, what you should think, and it's harder more than ever to actually know who you are, what your identity is. And Micaiah, the protagonist in this, he goes on this momentous journey because he's had expectations on both sides, the expectations of being good and supposed to be this brilliant student, but then also this expectation to be this hard, tough as nails roadman.
Yeah.
And he's neither. He's Micaiah. He finds himself within that. So yeah, it's deep. It's deep, and it's something that all of us have to deal with, I think, in our lives.
Okay. And so how did this idea come about? How did it? Oh, wow, you all look at Dread. Okay.
Dread, no.
Dread. What are you saying, Dread?
Okay, I'm into words. I don't care which culture produced the words. If those words attach onto me and belong to me as truth, then they belong to me as truth.
Yeah.
I read a poem called The Second Coming by W.B. Yeats. And in there he asserts that things fall apart, the centre cannot hold. Mere anarchy is loosed upon the earth. Now, I'm a soul, yeah, and I know that whatever is going on around me, if I hold that soul,
Yeah.
then I can hold my centre. And I just wanted to write something that, in my eyes, can prove that it doesn't matter what's going on around you, what people are saying, how things are falling apart. Hold yourself tight. Hold your centre tight. Hold that thing that you knew before you listened to the bullshit. Hold it tight, and you can survive and come through.
Wow. So this play for me was really speaking about nowadays, what young people are going through. So what would you say to people who are young people? What would you say to them to do if they are in trouble or are in different situations or difficult situations?
Don't feel that you can't speak out. That we all go through things and we all need to find our own way to find our balance. And by just saying, can you listen to me? That's a start.
Okay.
I think also surrounding yourself with people that you trust and that you can look up to positively. If it's just that one person as well, I feel like that kind of makes a huge difference.
Okay. How about yourself? The lead, are you the lead role?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think family is the most important thing, and spiritually as well, seeking possibly God, and seeking sort of Jesus. He's the saviour. I'm a Christian myself, thoroughly believe in Jesus Christ, and He saved us and delivered us away from our sins. And personally for myself, when I was growing up, there were elements in my life where there were bad people that I hung around with, and I hung around with these guys, and my mum brought me out of that and got me into church, and then I started to sort of delivering myself away from that. And I guess sort of community-wise is to seek different things and different ways of getting out of that lifestyle. I know it's easy enough for me to say that, but there are things out there that you can do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And sorry, Laura, I was saying, I work a lot with troubled teens.
Okay.
In my professional life, and one thing I always say to them is that you always have an alternative. There's the current given circumstance, and you think that I had no choice but to do this thing, I had no choice to carry that knife, I had no choice but to do, but there is always an alternative. Don't make a permanent decision based on a temporary feeling, because you are so much more than that.
Okay.
Yeah. So it is a hard life. In working with young people, there's a story that kind of just carries me through. When I started Hailing Voices, there was a youth and he was always on time, and then he started to be late, like hour and a half late, but whatever time he came, he would come. And then one day I was just like, yo, what's going on, man? Do you know what I mean? Why are you coming up? Okay. When he first started the group, he carried a shank down his shoe.
Yeah.
Always. So he was protected.
Yeah.
Then he decided, nah, them things ain't for me.
Okay.
So now he's not carrying a shank. But in order to get to the group safely,
Yeah.
he has to do what Selena had to do. He has to plot a safe route, which adds an hour and a half
Yeah.
to his time, but he was doing it. That's
Yeah.
the important thing. And I think if young people see consistency, if they see somebody who loves you, give a fuck what you've done.
Yeah.
I love you because I know you've done it, it's not you. I think they start to know and see a value in themselves. I think young people behave like so badly because they don't value who they are. They've never been taught to value who the hell they are. There's no way to look around and to tell them. And parents are too busy climbing ladders. To find time for their children.
You're good because of what you do, as opposed to you're just good because you're enough.
Yeah.
And you're a worthwhile human being.
Yeah, so consistency and some good old-fashioned love, and sometimes some Kat-a-lyst too.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay. One of the scenes that really kind of hit me hard was the scene where I think it was the three ladies together, and you were talking about race and kind of colorism. For you guys, what was the impact of that scene? Because it impacted me hard.
I think certainly for Mabel, the grandmother, she's a product of colonialism and her upbringing in the Caribbean. And I think she fights against her first daughter because she kind of acts as a mirror to her own prejudice. And I don't think it's not because Mabel doesn't love Jennifer. I think it's because she makes her uncomfortable, and she eventually makes her realise how wrong her views are, because it's just how Mabel has accepted things as being a certain way and has never questioned them. And Jennifer is that kind of thorn in her side that forces her and challenges her about her beliefs on colorism.
Okay. How about anybody else?
I think Claudette, I think she's sort of experienced what probably a lot of young professional men and largely women have experienced when going into a modern European workplace, and that's the feeling of being one of maybe two or three, a handful of coloured faces within an industry, within a business. And also seeing that within that business there's a certain way to dress. There's a corporate way to dress, as we all know. So you start to fit into certain roles, and within that you start to lose your identity anyway as a person. And then within that, as a black woman or a woman of colour, you start to lose that identity because you then start to straighten your hair as opposed to having a beautiful afro hair. You wouldn't wear your hair in beautiful braids because it's seen as a more, sort of ethnic look. And actually what you're trying to do is you're trying to prove that you are as good, if not better, than any of your peers. You're just as smart, you're just, you can be just as successful. And so the way that you do that is you start to talk in a language that they understand, and that's a visual language that they understand.
Yeah.
And you have to become that person, and sometimes that can overtake you as a person, and you start to lose your identity without even realising it often. And before you know it, you've gone down a route within your profession, and you've sort of turned your back on your culture or your heritage, meaning to or not. But there are certain sacrifices that you will find yourself making, and that for me is Claudette's journey.
Yeah.
And I've done it myself. I've straightened my hair to be more acceptable within a workplace, and then over the years I've refound myself, and
Yeah.
Now I wear my hair loud and proud, although not today because I'm wearing a wig later. But you sort of, it comes full circle, but it's interesting what you have to do
Yeah.
as a person of colour to fit into a sort of wider European standard.
Okay.
I think and
a professional standard.
I think
It's
Dredge
professional.
wrote it very well as well, because I think colorism, it's a thing that people aren't even aware that they're behaving in that way.
Yeah.
So I think that's what that scene is about. It actually brings that to the surface, because I think we probably, like you say, we behave in certain ways, in certain patterns that we've never even stopped to question and think that it's wrong or offensive.
Yeah.
And I think that brings all that to the surface.
And when Claudette says as well, that the lighter skinned you are, the better your chances. Unfortunately, being a lighter skinned coloured person,
Yeah.
I've experienced that, and I've witnessed it, preferential treatment. I've seen it.
Yeah.
So it's,
It's a reality.
She's not coming from an untrue position.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that her words have truth, but hopefully from putting on this play and through, I think we've actually got more intelligent and understanding youth now. I think we are actually more accepting of our own culture, because we're talking about it more naturally, and we can see a wider culture through the internet. So hopefully that thought won't be so prevalent going forward.
Yeah. One thing my mum picked up was that it's a predominantly a black cast. And my mum was like, wow, okay. But then one thing my dad asked was, how does that feel for yourself, being a white person?
It is definitely the first time I've ever been the only white person on a production.
Okay.
Which is ridiculous when you actually think about it. It is ridiculous. But I don't know. From the other side, it's I guess it's a very different experience, but there's very, I don't know, there's very few reasons why, there's very few differences between the level of quality, do you know what I mean? But the only reason that this is the first time this is happening to me is because of opportunity.
Yeah.
And it just opens your eyes to it a bit more.
Okay.
I mean, even me, as a ridiculously liberal person, coming in on the first day, it made me go, okay, there are still definitely inherited biases that you don't want to confront, and that everyone has,
Okay.
whether that's colorism or whether that's sort of racism, and you've got to confront deep down within yourself all the time,
Yeah.
and else we're not tackling it. We're just going on the surface. We're just not really talking about it. We're
Okay.
pretending that we're being accepting, or we're pretending that we're being inclusive, but we're not.
Yeah.
And I think that's been the most eye-opening thing for me on this is there's even me, as a liberal person, there's still 100 times more things I can be doing.
Yeah.
There's 100 more things I can be checking myself on every
Okay.
day, and I don't think that's the least you can ask of yourself, I think.
Yeah.
So so it's been eye-opening for me, and also just so much fun to work with a different different people to who I usually get to work with. So it's been great.
That's great. I know you guys have got a show coming up very, very soon. So, in about 3 words for the people out there, how would you summarize this show?
Awesome.
Wow.
1 word, done.
And I said they don't know.